Right now, at this exact millisecond, your body is producing biological glitches, microscopic rogue cells. But before you panic, don't. Take a breath. This is standard operating procedure for the human machine. You have trillions of cells. Trillions. When they divide and copy themselves, mistakes happen. It is pure statistics. Usually, your internal security forces sweep these glitches up. They clear out the rogue cells before you ever even know they were there. But here is the insider secret, the one the mainstream narrative often misses. For decades, we've been told that severe cellular diseases, like cancer, are just a roll of the genetic dice. Bad luck, a faulty inheritance. We've been conditioned to sit back, cross our fingers, and hope we don't draw the short straw. The truth? Genetics might load the gun, but your daily habits pull the trigger. Today, I am pulling back the curtain. We are going to look at how you can use your pantry to literally rewrite your cellular destiny. This isn't about eating bland salads. This is about biological warfare. If you want the real intel on how to weaponize your diet and build an impenetrable shield from the inside out, hit that subscribe button. Because we are going deep. Forget the outdated advice about just eating clean. Eating clean is passive. We are not being passive today. We are building the bioarmor framework. Think of a rogue cell like a squatter in an empty building. If that squatter is left alone, isolated, it's harmless. It can't do much damage without resources. But what if that squatter manages to tap into the city's water supply? What if they hijack the power grid? Suddenly, they can build an empire. In human biology, we call this process angiogenesis. Angiogenesis is the process where rogue cells hijack your vascular system. They send out chemical distress signals, tricking your body into building new blood vessels directly to them. They build unauthorized supply highways. Once connected to your blood supply, a microscopic cluster of rogue cells can grow exponentially, up to 16,000 times its size, in just a matter of days. Now, let's look at this differently. Most people think medicine is the only way to stop this. But what if you could cut the power grid before it's even built? What if your diet could act as a pair of wire cutters? To shut this down, we don't just need a random list of superfoods. We need a tactical strike. We are going to use specific compounds in food to literally starve these glitches. Before we move on, consider this. What if the most powerful anti-angiogenic medicine isn't in a pharmacy, but sitting on your kitchen counter right now? In the next chapter, I'm going to show you exactly how to demolish those smugglers' highways. Welcome to Pillar 1. If we're going to build a fortress, we have to start with the logistics. We need to cut the power to these rogue cells before they can scale. To do this, we are deploying what I call anti-vascular tactics. Think of a tumor like an illegal construction site. It can't build a skyscraper if the trucks carrying the steel and concrete can't reach the lot. In your body, those trucks are blood vessels. By using specific dietary compounds, we can effectively block the permits for these new roads. We're going to focus on two heavy hitters that specifically target this infrastructure. First up, the heat-activated payload. I'm talking about cooked tomatoes. Now, listen closely, because the method is actually more important than the food itself. Most people think a vegetable is a vegetable, but that's a rookie mistake. If you eat a raw tomato, it's refreshing, sure. It's great for a salad. But for bioarmor, it's weak. Here's the science. Tomatoes contain a powerful carotenoid called lycopene. In a raw tomato, lycopene is trapped inside tough plant cell walls, and its molecular structure is straight, making it hard for your body to absorb. But When you apply heat and introduce extra virgin olive oil, a beautiful chemical reaction occurs. The heat shatters those cellular walls, and the oil changes the lycopene's molecular shape from trans to cis, essentially folding it into a shape that your bloodstream can grab onto. It becomes a highly bioavailable smart bomb. Once it's in your system, lycopene acts like a chemical stop sign for angiogenesis. It sends a signal to those rogue cells saying, "No new roads. The grid is closed." Look at the Mediterranean. Specifically, look at southern Italy. They have some of the lowest rates of certain cancers in the world. Why? It's not just eating veggies. It's the Sunday sauce. They take tomatoes, they crush them, they drench them in olive oil, and they let them simmer for hours. The target: you need 3 solid servings of cooked tomatoes a week. The pro tip: don't overthink it. A thick marinara, a concentrated tomato paste, or even cherry tomatoes roasted in the oven until they burst. Just remember the golden rule: heat plus fat equals armor. Next, we need to move from supply lines to lockdown tactics. We're talking about whole soy. I want to pause here and kill a massive myth that has been circulating in the wellness space for years. You've probably been told to avoid soy because it contains phytoestrogens, and the fear is that these will mimic human estrogen and fuel hormone-sensitive rogue cells. This is a profound misunderstanding of human biology. Let's look at this through the lens of a decoy key. Imagine the surface of your cells has thousands of tiny locks. Human estrogen is a master key. When it fits into the lock and turns, it tells the cell to grow and divide rapidly. If a rogue cell gets a hold of that master key, it goes into overdrive. Plant estrogens, phytoestrogens, are like decoy keys. They have a similar shape, so they slide into the lock perfectly. But, and this is the crucial part, they aren't strong enough to actually turn the lock. They just sit there. By sitting in the lock, they prevent the dangerous, master key, human estrogen from getting in. They effectively jam the door shut against overstimulation. It's a competitive inhibition that actually protects the cell from the very thing people are afraid of. To get this benefit, you have to avoid the frankenfoods. I'm not talking about soy protein isolate bars or processed, fake meats filled with fillers. The source: stick to the traditional whole food forms: edamame, tempeh, miso, or organic tofu. Asterisk the target: 2 servings a week is the sweet spot, identified in long-term nutritional studies for maximum vascular protection. Before we move on, I see people making one huge mistake in this chapter: the supplement trap. People hear lycopene is good, and they go buy a lycopene pill. Here's the problem. When researchers gave people isolated lycopene pills versus cooked tomato sauce, the sauce won every single time. Why? Because the tomato has 200 other micronutrients that act as wingmen for the lycopene. Biology is a team sport. Don't try to play with just one player. Eat the food. Now, we've successfully cut the supply lines. We've jammed the locks. The rogue cells are starving and isolated. But what about the damage that's already been done to your internal hard drive? What about the daily wear and tear on your actual genetic code? Don't go anywhere, because in Pillar 2, we are moving from the supply lines to the software. We're about to deploy the software patch. We've cut the enemy supply lines, but now we need to look at the hard drive itself. Every single day, your DNA, the literal operating system of your life, takes a brutal beating. I'm talking about environmental stress, UV radiation, air pollution, and even the simple act of breathing. When your body converts oxygen into energy, it creates free radicals. Think of these like tiny, jagged pieces of shrapnel flying around inside your cells, chipping away at your genetic code. Over time, these chips lead to mutations. If you want to stay in the game, you need to send in the coders to patch the software and the special ops to clear out the junk. This is where we move from starving the bad to fortifying the good. Let's start with your lead software engineers, the Kiwi. This little fuzzy fruit is one of the most underestimated tools in the BioArmor kit. Most people think of it as just a source of vitamin C, but it's much more sophisticated than that. Kiwi contains a specific suite of highly potent antioxidants that perform a process called DNA repair stimulation. In clinical trials, researchers found that people who ate kiwis didn't just have less DNA damage. Their cells actually became faster at repairing shattered DNA strands. It's like the fruit provides the raw code and the energy drink. Your cellular maintenance crew needs to find broken genetic links and weld them back together before they turn into a permanent glitch. The target, 1 to 3 kiwis a day. The execution, I highly recommend eating them in the morning. By loading up early, you're setting a biological baseline. You're giving your cells the tools they need to handle the oxidative stress that accumulates throughout the workday. Now, let's bring in the heavy artillery for the cleanup crew. I'm talking about broccoli sprouts. Now, don't get me wrong. Regular, mature broccoli is a great wingman. It belongs on your plate. But if we're talking about a precision tactical strike, the sprouts are in a completely different league. These tiny, 3-day-old baby plants are a biological phenomenon. They are packing up to 100 times the concentration of a precursor compound called glucoraphanin compared to the full-grown plant. Think about the physics of it. A tiny sprout has all the concentrated energy and chemical potential of a massive broccoli head, but it's condensed into a space smaller than a fingernail. When you ingest these, you aren't just eating a vegetable. You are deploying a concentrated biochemical payload. Here is where the magic happens. When you chew these sprouts, you break the plant cells, mixing the glucoraphanin with an enzyme called myrosinase. This creates sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is arguably the most powerful natural activator of the NRF2 pathway. In medical circles, we call NRF2 the master switch for your body's internal pharmacy. When sulforaphane hits your system, it flips this switch to the on position. Once that switch is flipped, your cells are commanded to pump out massive amounts of antioxidant and detoxifying enzymes. It's a total system overhaul. It's the difference between one guy with a broom trying to sweep a stadium and a professional industrial cleaning crew coming in with high-pressure washers, chemical solvents, and a fleet of trucks to haul away the debris. Imagine your body is a high-end commercial kitchen. On a normal day, with clean eating, you're doing the basics, washing the dishes and wiping the counters. That's good maintenance. But broccoli sprouts are the quarterly deep clean. They come in and scrub the grease out of the vents. They pull out the stoves to clean the floors underneath, and they degrease the traps. They remove the cellular soot that has been building up for years from bad air, processed oils, and metabolic waste. The target, this is the best part, you don't need to eat a bucket of them. You only need a quarter cup 3 to 4 times a week to maintain peak NRF2 activation. The critical nuance. This is where 90% of people fail. Heat is the enemy. The enzyme myrosinase, the one that turns the precursor into the sulforaphane smart bomb, is heat sensitive. If you steam, boil, or saute your sprouts, you've just deactivated the payload. The execution, you must eat these raw. Throw them into a smoothie. The blades of the blender actually help activate the sulforaphane. Use them as a crunchy topper on a sandwich or fold them into a wrap at the very last second. We've patched the code and we've deep cleaned the cells. Your internal software is running at 100%. But there is still one more piece to this optimization. We need the agents who can find the rogue cells that are already hiding. Let's look at the special ops recruiters. Finally, we need to mobilize the standing army. Enter Blueberries. We've all heard the buzzwords. We know they are high in antioxidants, but in the world of bioarmor, that is a massive oversimplification. Blueberries aren't just little balls of fiber and sugar. They are special ops recruiters. Here is the high-level intel. Blueberries contain a specific class of polyphenol called anthocyanins. That's the pigment that gives them that deep, dark blue color. Recent clinical studies have shown that these anthocyanins actually talk to your bone marrow. They send a chemical signal to the very place your blood is born, commanding it to increase the production of natural killer, NK, cells, and T cells. These aren't your average, everyday white blood cells. These are the specialized, microscopic assassins of your immune system. Their only job is to patrol your bloodstream like a high-end security detail. They scan every cell they meet, checking their ID cards. If they find one of those glitches or rogue cells we talked about earlier, a cell that has turned rogue and is trying to stay hidden, these assassins don't wait for permission. They execute a seek and destroy mission on the spot, dissolving the rogue cell before it can ever form a cluster. The target, 1 cup daily. The pro tip, don't let the seasonal trap stop you. Don't worry about finding fresh, organic berries in the dead of winter that have been sitting on a truck for 2 weeks. Frozen blueberries are a strategic win. They are typically frozen at the absolute peak of ripeness, locking in those recruiter polyphenol. In fact, some data suggests the freezing process might make the skin more brittle, which actually makes it easier for your body to extract and absorb those compounds during digestion. Now, before we move to the next pillar, I have to address a major mistake I see in the biohacking community. I call it the synergy mistake. People hear that sulforaphane or vitamin C or anthocyanins are good, so they run to the supplement store and buy isolated pills. They think they're being efficient. They're not. Here is the hard truth. Your body has evolved for millions of years to recognize food matrices, not isolated chemicals. A kiwi isn't just a vitamin C delivery system. It's a complex architecture of fiber, specific enzymes, and cofactor sugars that act as a GPS for those nutrients. They tell the antioxidants exactly where to go and how to get there. If you take a pill, your body often doesn't recognize the address. Without the transport system found in the whole fruit, those expensive nutrients just circulate aimlessly until they are filtered out. You end up with nothing but very expensive urine. If you want the results, you have to stick to the whole plant software. Don't try to outsmart a million years of evolution with a plastic bottle. Let's recap the mission status. We've cut the supply lines to the rogue cells with our antivascular tactics. We've patched the DNA software with our code debuggers. And we've recruited a special ops army to patrol the perimeter. You're probably feeling pretty bulletproof right now. But hold on. There is a command and control center we haven't touched yet. Because all of these coders, assassins, and engineers, every single one of them, has to report to a central command. And if your biological headquarters is compromised, the whole system collapses. Next, we are going to talk about the most important garrison in your body, the gut. We need to redefine how you view your stomach. Your gut isn't just a digestive tube. It's the headquarters for your entire biological defense grid. And this headquarters is guarded by a specific bacterial sentinel. Its name is Akkermansia mucinifera. Think of Akkermansia as the general of your immune army. It lives in the lining of your gut. It dictates how well your immune system responds to threats. But here's the catch. If this sentinel starves, your shield drops. If Akkermansia numbers fall, your risk for metabolic chaos and rogue cellular growth skyrockets. We need to feed the general. Akkermansia thrives on very specific compounds called elagitannins. And the absolute best source of this? The pomegranate. When you consume pomegranate, your gut bacteria convert it into a powerful compound called urolithin A. This is the ultimate Garrison ration. It strengthens the gut barrier and feeds your defenders. Your target is half a fresh pomegranate, or 4 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice daily. Next, we deploy the liquid armor, green tea. But listen to me. This isn't about just drinking hot, colored water. You need to steep it properly. You are trying to extract EGCG, a potent compound that actively disrupts rogue cellular communication. Here is the pro tip most people miss. When you brew your green tea, add a squeeze of fresh lemon. Why? Vitamin C alters the pH. It locks in the active compounds, protecting the EGCG so it actually survives the harsh acid of your stomach and makes it to your intestines. Target 3 brewed cups daily. With lemon. Okay, let's take a breath. I've just given you a lot of science. I've given you the exact foods. But having the right tools is completely useless if you don't know the strategy. In our final chapter, I'm giving you the operator's manual. How do you actually do this without losing your mind? Here is your insider playbook for flawless execution. Rule number 1, drip feed, don't drown. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Chugging a gallon of green tea on a Sunday and then drinking nothing but soda all week is completely useless. Your biological defense grid requires a steady, daily drip of these compounds to stay activated. It's like watering a plant. A little bit every day creates deep roots. A flood once a month just washes the soil away. Rule number 2, the matrix effect. Put down the isolated supplement pills. I know it's tempting to just buy a blueberry extract pill or a Lycopene capsule. Don't do it. You cannot extract the magic out of a living plant and put it in a capsule. The true power lies in the thousands of microscopic trace cofactors working together in the whole food. It's a symphony. A pill is just one instrument. You want the whole orchestra. Eat the whole food. Rule number 3, the crowd out principle. This is the psychological key. Stop stressing over what you can't eat. Diets fail because they focus on restriction. We are focusing on addition. Your goal is to aggressively add these tactical foods into your daily routine. Add the kiwi. Add the tea. Add the tomatoes. Eventually, you will be so full of high-octane bioarmor, you will naturally crowd out the garbage. Add the good, and the bad will leave on its own. Let's bring this all together. The narrative that you are just a passive passenger in your health journey, that narrative ends today. Genetics are just a blueprint. You are the architect. Every single time you sit down to eat a meal, you are making a choice. You are either feeding the biological glitches, or you are fueling your armor. You know how to demolish the supply lines with tomatoes and soy. You know how to patch your DNA with kiwi and broccoli sprouts. You know how to command your immune system with blueberries. And you know how to fortify your gut garrison with pomegranate and green tea. You hold the blueprint now. The power is literally on your plate. If this insider look completely changed how you view your pantry, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to join our community of people taking their biology back. And most importantly, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. Stay armored, stay optimized, and I'll see you in the next one.